Hey, what's up everybody? So today I've got a few updates to give. If that's not the kind of thing that sounds interesting to you, feel free to just move on. The next video should be more relevant to everybody, but for those of you who are interested in what's going on with me specifically and what's going on with this channel, my training, I've got a few updates for you on that front. Okay, so we'll start with an update on the race preparation. And I actually went up to Carabasset Valley yesterday to try to ride one lap of roughly what'll be the course for the race. They haven't announced the official course yet. So the plan was to go up, ride one lap of the course, get some GoPro footage that I could use for this channel and also just for myself to sort of study things. Didn't go exactly as planned, and it actually worked out great in some ways and kind of badly in other ways. So the way that's most relevant to you watching this video is that I did bring the GoPro. I did not, as it turns out, bring an SD card to record any video on. So that was unfortunate. I didn't realize that until I'd actually started the ride, so I spent the entire ride with the GoPro strapped to me doing absolutely nothing because it had no card in it. So that's my bad. I apologize. I don't have any footage of that. Yesterday was supposed to be sort of like occasional scattered showers up there, and it ended up raining for the entire 4 hours I was there. And in a way, that was good. I don't know if I've talked about this much on this channel, but I'm actually really kind of scared to ride in the wet. I've had just terrible experiences with tires slipping all over the place, even though before this bike, pretty much every bike that I had, I've run like the burliest tires imaginable. And I think the reason for that is just that my local riding area is Bradbury, aka Route City. So when it's wet, it becomes a slippery nightmare. I know different types of routes have sometimes like more or less slippery. I don't know which trees are the slipperiest, but whatever they are, they're all at Bradbury. And so actually, I was kind of pleasantly surprised to find out that even on the spur, which has less sort of grippy tires, 4 hours of riding in the rain, not just wet, but while it's actively raining in Carabasset Valley, and I really didn't feel like I was slipping around all that much at all. I sort of went into it thinking, boy, I still don't feel super confident on clipless pedals. Now everything's wet, and I'm trying to figure out where I'm going. This is a recipe for a just confidence-killing disaster of a ride, and it didn't end up being that. It did not all go to plan, but I only did the sort of like idiot falling over thing because of the clipless pedals once over the course of a 4-hour ride, which is pretty good. And I was actually really impressed with the grip. It made me feel much more confident about riding the race. If it does end up being wet on the day of the actual race day, I'm going to feel much better about that than I would have before yesterday. So that's the good side of what came out of that. So the bad side of yesterday was that in 4 hours, I only covered 25 miles, and part of that was on the road. Now, there are some extenuating circumstances. One, it wasn't actually a race, so I wasn't like pushing my hardest the entire time, or really even any of the time, especially because it was wet and I was being cautious. I did walk some things that I probably wouldn't in a race setting, or even just if it was dry. And I did have to stop and check where I was going. I got lost a bunch of times. I was trying to figure out how to follow the Garmin's directions. So for the first 10 minutes, I wasn't even on the trail or going anywhere. So there are some extenuating circumstances, but I kind of came out of it I feel like I have the fitness to go that distance. To do the 100 kilometers. I feel like my fitness is there already, that I could probably do that, assuming that I fuel correctly and I sort of rest beforehand and stuff like that. I think I'm there fitness-wise, or pretty close. I don't know if I'm fast enough on single track to finish it within the time limit. That's the thing that I'm most worried about now, to be honest. Yeah, I'm pretty confident that I can finish. I'm not that confident that I can finish within the time limit. And I don't want to say I'm 100% sure that my fitness is there, especially if it's a really hot day. That could still be a problem too. But the thing I'm most worried about now is just, am I fast enough in the single track to be able to finish within the time limit? And I don't know the answer. So it'll be interesting to see. I guess you'll get to see along with me. At this point, I've got about a month left until the race, so that's something that I can work on, although I do sort of have to balance that with, of course, I got prep for that Mount Abram race that's coming up in just a couple weeks. So shifting gears to the Mount Abram race, that's a charity race, and I've mentioned this on the channel before, but I just wanted to mention it again. I'm raising money for Winter Kids, which is a charity that helps get Maine kids outside in the winter. I've committed to raising at least $275. We're more than halfway there at this point, but we're not all the way there. So if you would like to contribute, check out the link in the video description. You can make a donation. It's tax deductible. It goes directly to Winter Kids, so you don't have to trust me or anything. You're just donating straight to them. It's just sort of crediting my team for your donation, or sort of crediting it towards what I've committed to raise. Yeah, help me out, help yourself out, because you're going to get to see another Sufferfest video, hopefully. Ooh, I feel a little hesitant about even saying this on camera, but my goal for the Winter Kids race this year is to do the maximum possible number of laps. They only will let you do 2 laps per hour, and there's 12 hours in the race. So my goal is to do 24 laps, climbing up the mountain, not ever riding the lift. That's the goal. Am I going to be able to do that? I don't know. It feels very possible now. I have a feeling it's going to feel a lot less possible at about 1 o'clock in a couple of weeks when I'm in the middle of it. So we'll find out then. But that is what I'm aiming for. So if you think that sounds interesting, you want to watch that video, please hit the link in the description below. Donate to help support that effort. If you don't donate, you're going to be able to watch the video anyway. I'm just posting it on YouTube. Yeah, it's just a good cause. So consider making a donation. I would appreciate it if you did, but you'll get to watch me suffer either way. So up to you. Oh, by the way, you may have noticed, but I've got a new microphone kind of setup thing going. So let me know how you think the audio sounds. So the last thing is just that I spend a lot of time online researching sort of like bike parts and comparing things and making spreadsheets. It's just something, frankly, that I enjoy doing. I like trying to find kind of like the optimal stuff for me. And a lot of times that involves learning a bunch of things and pulling together information. And I realized there's a lot of stuff that I do that might be valuable to other people, but I'm just not sharing it. Some of the stuff that I learn, I do share in these videos, but some of it just doesn't lend itself very well to like a video. So I started essentially like a website / newsletter. I'm going to put the link in the description to that as well. And that's where I'm going to just be occasionally sharing some of these things, like research that I'm doing on a certain type of product or whatever that might be useful to other people, but it just doesn't make sense to put it in a video. So there's one example up there right now that you can see, which is a comparison of like the tire jargon that is used by, I think it's Maxxis, Schwalbe, Vittoria, and Specialized. So all of the dumb different terms that they use for their casing types, the like words that they make up for like the different compounds that they use, I've got those all lined up in tables and kind of explaining what each of those is. It's just something that I put together for me, and then I realized this would be useful to other people too. And it actually takes a lot of time. It's annoying to kind of like look up all that information. So I figured I'll just put it in there, share it with everybody. So if that sounds interesting to you, go check that out. You can actually subscribe and you'll get updates emailed to you. This is not a paid newsletter thing. It's just free. It's also not something I'm going to be updating probably super often. I'm only going to be posting stuff there if I have something that I think is interesting and it's not going to make sense to do as a video. So it's possible there will be times where I post a few things fairly quickly, like in rapid succession, and then there may be times where it goes months that I haven't posted anything. It's really just going to be driven by like, what bike stuff am I researching, what am I doing, and is it going to be interesting to share? But it might save you some time, so go ahead, check out that link in the description as well. Feel free to subscribe if you want to get that sent to your email, or just bookmark the website. You can do it either way. And so that's it for the updates. Coming up on this channel, I should have some more riding videos. I am also going to do a video about bike fitting, clipless pedals, my weird ass feet, that whole situation. I've talked about it on rides, but I'm going to actually explain what's happened, where I'm at. So stay tuned for that if you too have weird feet and are thinking about clipless pedals, or you're just curious what the hell I'm talking about. So yeah, that's it for me for today. I hope you have a chance to get outside and ride, and I will see you in the next one. And maybe I'll see you at Mount Abram in a couple weeks at that race. If anybody wants to do some laps with me, some uphill laps, let me know. I will be there doing them, and happy to do a couple laps with folks. I probably will I think I'll just be doing super chicken laps the whole time.